Previously on X-Men.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning. Luke, I am your father.
Party on, Wayne!
Party on, Garth.
Did you grow up in Canada? Were you alive in the 90s? Did you love YTV? F yeah, you did.
So beautiful, yet so strong.
Well, I always did think I was kind of cute. Nice of you to mention it.
Well, here's the interesting thing about that, Cal, is that they made a pilot prior to the series that you were in. They tried to make an X-Men series that was way more like.
Are you going with the Australian guy?
Yeah. What the fuck?
Fräulein, you left before I could properly welcome you.
Welcome her? Wait, she's not joining the X-Men, is she? She's just a kid.
Wolverine.
And it's a good thing that Hugh Jackman didn't look at that as source material.
Oh, no. That's exactly what you just said. That's exactly what you took the words and Meatloaf's as a la Meatloaf. You took the words right out of my mouth. I said, what the fuck is that? He's from like Alberta, for God's sakes. Okay, Northern Alberta.
You could have made him Irish too, but you didn't. So we appreciate that.
That would have been perfect for me, being born in Ireland.
Yeah,
that would be too freaky. Well, back off, Bub.
Okay, so I got a question from a gentleman named Will DeConto. Did working on the show make you into a fan of the X-Men or comics?
Oh, hugely. In every character. I mean, not just Wolverine. And then when I actually saw him and what he could do and what was going on, I was like, well, holy shit, this changes everything.
How long did it take to see the first episode after recording it?
Oh, man. Probably after we started, 8 months.
Okay.
Yeah, like half the season.
Still pretty fast turnaround for animation, actually. So my friend Jason Hattrick is asking, Wolverine is not a soft and fluffy character.
This kid's crying. Do something.
He's an anti-hero whose claws give him very few non-lethal options in combat. How did you tone down a character like that for an animated series for kids while also being true to the character?
Well, no, as Eric will tell you too, when they decided at the beginning of the series, this is not a cartoon. This is a serious, we're going to discuss major issues. We're going to start off the first episode or two. We're going to kill this guy, and it's going to be Morph.
Wolverine! Pull back!
What's wrong, Jean?
It's Morph. Can't you feel it?
Morph? I don't sense anything.
And everyone loved Morph, but they decided, we've got to teach them what it's like to lose someone that's close to you, that you're going to do in life, that this shit happens.
Oh, cowards!
Wolverine!
Tell Cyclops I made him a convertible.
Eric will tell you, there was no calming him down. Wolverine. He had his own moments in the church scene and with Nightcrawler, that whole episode. I don't know if you've seen that yet.
Yeah. It's
that's one of my favorite episodes.
Very deep. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's discussing religion. And I mean, a cartoon doesn't approach religious topics. That one did.
What are you talking about? We're mutants. God gave up on us a long time ago.
No, my friend. God does not give up on his children, human or mutant. He is there for us in our times of joy and to help us when we are in pain, if we let him.
Don't give me that easy answer garbage.
Because Nightcrawler's like, think with different eyes, see with different eyes, and Logan. And he's like, where's your God now? Where's your God now? He just, burned down the temple and everything. And his response is, there's only bricks and mortar that can be replaced. And so, calming influence. I mean, it's just fantastic. The whole series is like that. It's unbelievable. So there was no calming him down. He's not soft and fluffy.
My arm!
He wasn't meant to be, but if you look at deep inside him, his heart melts if you look at him the wrong way. And he is lonely, and he has no girlfriend or love or anything because he's been let down by every one of them. And he's upset and lonely.
There's this beautiful moment where I think like you're hurt and Jean comes to your aid and you just take a breath and just look at her and slowly exhale her name.
Jean.
I've gotta go. Cyclops is waiting for me.
So am I.
I know, and because he's so in love with her, and he wants to grab her and hug her, he can't.
You could have been like, Jean, you don't get it. You have to leave Cyclops. I love you more than anything. I haven't loved anyone since Yoriko. And instead you just went, Jean. You know, and that's better.
I know.
That's better.
It is so cool that you recognize that.
Yeah. You know, it takes good writing to make a character not seem like a one-dimensional angry guy. Like you were in the first episode, you just seem like this loner badass. Yep. But in the second one, you feel the loss of your friend, and you see that he's involved in a love triangle. Like they gave you so much to do, and it's up to an actor to not overdo it. It's about what you don't say. You don't have to say 50 words to convey an emotion.
And exactly. Yeah. I can't believe you said that. And you have recognized that. And I get that too from them. They said it's just the way we could feel it in your even lack of lines. But lack of lines, like as you just said, the least said, the better.
Come on, they're gonna kill him.
Good.
What?
So this guy Nick Perron is asking, and let me know if you want to answer this or not. It's fine if you don't. My question is this. There are countless constants in the voice acting world. Batman is Kevin Conroy. Optimus Prime is Peter Cullen. Frank Welker is so many characters. It hurts my brain. And then there is Wolverine, who is Cal Dodd. Except literally any X-Men cartoon after the original animated series wasn't Cal Dodd. You weren't brought back. Was that your choice or their choice? Or where if you were offered to come back as Wolverine, would you?
I love the question.
Cool.
I love that question, and I can't believe no one else has asked that. Of course I was pissed off. You kidding? Like, I did the 5 years, and there's this. I created the voice. It was no one before me except that Australian goof.
Juggernauts! We meet again, dead brother.
Hold it, Bullethead. You'll have to go through us first.
Get with it. The X-Men don't have room for whiny brats.
The nose knows, tough guy.
I created his voice for 5 years. This was my brother, my right arm. And they go to LA and they do this next, whatever, the X Revolution or whatever the hell they called it. And they said, oh, no, it's just going to be a younger version of the X-Men. And I went, well, I'm going, what do you mean? Younger version of the X-Men. Like, he's 144 years of age, or whatever he is, which was news to me. And so he's young. How young? Is he like 18? No, he wasn't. And they just replaced me with another guy whom I met, and he's a great guy. But there was no need to do that. Like, why wouldn't they? And he's right. It did piss me off. That's my role. That's my character. And they have another guy doing it in L.A. Well, that's their decision. That's whatever they're doing. I don't. So they went with whoever they went with. I can remember. Oh, geez, I can't believe I'm not going to remember his name. Steve Bloom. So they went with Steve Bloom, and that's fine. But yeah, I was pissed off. Of course, I wanted to keep doing it forever.
Of course.
Yeah.
Well, I can definitely say I met Steve Bloom, and he's a nice fellow. But
he is a great guy. You know what he said to me? I met him in Hartford, Connecticut, and I had my X-Men cast jacket on, with the Fox Kids Network on the back and all the credits and shit, and of course the big picture of Wolverine on the back of this leather jacket. And I walked up to his table at the Comic-Con, and he just stepped back and he started bowing down. he went, "My God, you set an awful high bar, my friend." And I said, "Yeah, well, you stop doing the voice." And we hugged and had our picture taken together.
Payback time.
Now that we're on the topic of this, it's a good time to bring up my buddy Jason, who I've known as long as this series has been out. He cannot read a comic book to this day without hearing your voice in his head when he reads Logan speaking. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
Oh yeah, I get that 20 on these Comic-Cons. I get that 25 times a day, which is I can't. You never get tired of hearing that. Are you kidding? Some guy's reading a comic book and he's hearing your voice in their head.
Come quietly or be taken.
And I hope you want to be taken.
Now that you're more familiar with the X-Men since the series, my good friend Dave Michaels, who really great, brave guy, I gotta say. Dave Michaels, I really look up to this guy. He's a great person. He's asking, is there any X-Men, classic X-Men story that you would have loved to voice Logan as in an animated adaptation? I mean, the death of Wolverine would have been interesting. Old Man Logan would have been interesting. That would have been cool to have you voice that. Logan at the end of his life, just trying to do one last mission.
There's talk of doing that with Disney, who now owns the whole thing, and they're actually talking about a 6th year with the original cast again.
Oh,
there's talk, and they've asked for an extra 2 months now to think about it in LA. So it's in the back of their heads. So, you know, if the fans can just get out there and just go like, oh man, everyone I talk to, oh man, I'd kill to see that. I'll buy it. Whatever. Yeah. And it's just, well, bud, just pray for it. And as you said when you started the conversation, covering all the episodes that you read of X-Men and stuff from the comic books, they didn't miss a thing, didn't miss a beat.
No.
And now the kids just couldn't believe how well and how much, actually, some in most cases, loved this series more than the comic book that they read.
It's an incredible week of an all-new. It could destroy the entire galaxy. 5-part X-Men adventure. Don't miss this X-Men event all next week on Fox Kids.
What I like about this series is that it made all those storylines that were these huge, epic storylines much more adaptable to somebody who hasn't been reading for like 8 years. You know, you could kind of just step in on that, see the previously on X-Men, and you're back in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, that was genius. And that's what Eric named his book. He was looking for a title, you know, and he said, well, why not? That's a great idea, Eric. Previously on X-Men.
I'm really looking forward to that book.
Oh, you'll love it.
Make your move, hotshot.
You lost, Wolverine. Admit it.
Big talk. Come on. Go for the hoop, Gumbo.
If you insist.
So after all these years, I'm going to ask you, what are some of your favorite episodes, I guess? I know it's a general question to ask, but why not?
Well, one of my favorites at the top of the list is the Nightcrawler one. And the one where he heads off when he rips the pages and they come in and say, where's Wolverine? Has he gone somewhere on his own again? He always sounded like Ted Knight to me, you know, from Mary Tyler Moore.
Yeah.
Where's he now? Oh, I guess he's gone his own way again, per usual. Anyway, he goes up north and meets the natives. Near the end of the episode, they throw him up in blankets and stuff, and it's the only episode that Wolverine had to laugh. And I was like, I didn't know what the laugh. Holy shit! I've never had made him laugh. Like, you know, what's he gonna laugh like?
But I never put much stock in fish stories.
Then the chief says to him, "Thank you so much, my friend." And he gets up and walks away. And this is the end of the episode. And Wolverine, there's just a close up, and he just looks not at the camera. He's just like looking dead straight ahead and says, "You called me friend." Boop. End of episode. Because there again, back to what you said about say little or don't say. You know, that was another one of my favorite episodes. And all there was Talking Old Soldiers, I think, was one that ended up in France and stuff. And he's at the graveside.
Okay.
In front of you'll see it. You probably haven't seen it yet.
Is that the one where you meet up with Captain America?
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Oh no. And they're in that episode. Typical. I get the great lines, like the funny lines, because he's looking at Captain America and goes. It basically says like, "What the hell are you wearing?" It's just like, man. I guess they wouldn't miss you in a crowd, would they? And they're climbing up the side of a cliff, and he turns to the guy and says,
"Where'd you get that star-spangled monkey suit? Fatigues would be a lot less obvious."
But I'm more than just a soldier, Logan. This costume makes me a living symbol of everything we're fighting for. A symbol of pride, of hope.
You wouldn't catch me in something like that. It's gotta itch.
That's gotta itch. And carries on. Like his non sequiturs were just unbelievable. And like one of the first, I think it's the first 2 episodes, the Sentinels, like he said, and he jumps down off a tree and they said, "So how'd it go over here?" "I lost the scent."
Trail went cold outside the house. Got bit by a dog, too.
And just as nonchalantly as that.
Wolverine has a very signature scream, like. Did it take long to figure that one out, or was that just
No, instantaneous.
All right.
I don't know where it came from. It just came out when I first did it. And it went on forever with Sabretooth. I had to do it like 600 times in a fighting episode.
You always were slower than me. Give it up, Sabretooth. Never! Ah! My eyes!
Did you guys know that the 5th season was going to be your final season? Did you kind of like...
No.
No? Okay.
Nope. Well, although near the end of it, near the end of the 5th season, yeah, well, I guess I lied. We must have, because the guy, Joe, well, Marvel declared Chapter 7.
Oh.
And we were told, well, Marvel's declaring Chapter 7 bankruptcy, whatever. So there we were, finishing the series, and Marvel was going supposedly tits up, and he just said, protect yourself and, good luck. And they sort of walked away from us like that and said, okay. So I guess I don't know how you would protect yourself against that or what he meant by that, but, in case someone else buys it and then sells it elsewhere, which they already do that. You only get paid for 5 years and that's it.
Well, I know in Canada, usually even with Canadian series that friends of mine have starred in, they usually do 3 seasons. As soon as they get to like 50-something episodes, enough for syndication, they usually pull the plug.
Yeah. Well, this is a U.S. series, though, and Fox, for the Fox network specifically.
Yeah.
And it put that network on the map. This X-Men series put the Fox network on the map by itself. Fox was struggling, and Eric will tell you all this. It's in the book. It's hilarious. It's not hilarious. It's unbelievably scary, and it's great reading. And she was going to lose her job if the X-Men failed. She was, as president of the Fox, she was going to lose her job as president of the network, but she insisted. She backed it that much. She believed in it so much that she said, "We're going with it." And within 6 months or 7, 8 months, whatever, it put Fox network came out of nowhere. Fox Kids on Saturday morning, put them above NBC and CBS, ABC. It was astounding. An animated series did that for a network.
Wow. And a lot of other superhero cartoons would follow suit.
Batman was starting right at that same time. We were like in competition with them because that started almost the same year, I think.
Mm-hmm. But the beautiful thing about Batman and your show starting around the same time is that they couldn't be more different. One of them is a solitary character that reluctantly will find allies in a darkened world that primarily takes place at night, while the X-Men is this bright, colorful, very dramatic, but much more family piece.
It was a dramatic animated series. And done so well, and I'm so happy that Eric fought for this, and Eric refused to give up.
I just remembered something, and this was a huge thing. Before Avengers, Infinity Wars, and Endgames make billions and billions of dollars, a big crossover episode is when you and some of the X-Men dudes were on the Spider-Man animated series.
Spider-Man, what have you done with Beast?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Sure. Beast told you about this place. That's how I knew to find you here. Looks like your memory needs a little help.
What was that like? Did they fly you out somewhere else? Did you record your lines where you were and you sent them over?
Recorded my lines where I was here. I never met anyone from their end. They just put it all together.
Wow.
They just give me, like, Dan Hennessy was our vocal director. He was fantastic. And he would just say, here's what's happening. Okay, Spidey says this to you, and this is what's happened. Okay, fine. I just read the lines. Never saw or met anyone from their end.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Good old business. The magic of animation.
Oh, yeah. And make no mistake, It is a business.
Yeah.
That's a multi-billion-dollar business. And my question, and everyone that comes up to my at these Comic-Cons is like, why was there never an X-Men animated movie after the power of that 5-year series that you guys had? Why was there not a movie with all you guys, you know, the original, a movie, X-Men movie.
Nostalgia is a very powerful thing, and all those kids now have grown up, and now they have their own money, and they have their own kids watching this show too. So if there was ever a time to reprise this glorious part of X-Men's history, it should be now. It should be now.
Oh, I know.
Right on the 30-year mark.
For sure, Ryan, because don't wait for 30. Yeah. I mean, we've already let 25 go by. So yeah, you know, it's unbelievable. And I just miss, again, just to close this off or whatever, it's been wonderful talking to you. And I miss the guy so much. It's crazy. Like Wolverine himself, Logan. Logan, I can call him because, you know, it's my name on my jacket. He was great to voice and great work with everyone that was involved. And we never saw Eric or Julia ever I never met them until 7 months ago at a Comic-Con.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, they're the writers, you know. No one gives the writers credit.
They really should. They really should.
But yeah, of course. It's like anyone who writes a song. You never know who wrote the song. You just know the guy that sang it or the girl that sang it. You know. I also voiced Slappy on Goosebumps.
Oh yeah, dude.
And somebody put up the picture in Texas, and I'd never had that on my banner behind me. They put up a picture of fucking Slappy. And I went, oh, fuck, because kids started coming up and going like, here, this little girl of like about 10 years of age ran into my arms and said, you're my favorite. And I bent down on my knees and I'm going like, and her little brother was like 4 and he ran into my arms. I said, they're looking at Slappy. 10 different people. Do you have anything for me to sign? No, I had no pictures of Slappy because I wasn't promoting it.
Wow.
Oh, fuck. No, but it was an eye opener for me.
Well, right before you leave, considering we're talking about this is my show, you, me, and YTV, we definitely have to touch on the fact that you played the original Slappy. Like that's pretty amazing because that's an iconic character from the Goosebumps lore.
Oh, Ryan, I'm in Texas, and these Americans are telling me like, oh my God, and I would do that. So I did the voice for them. It's like,
so you think you're crazy? You are crazy. You think that you're not an active person? I don't think so.
And they're just like, oh my God. But I wasn't prepared to do that. I'm doing Wolverine. You know, I'm down here doing that stuff. And they're going on about Slappy. So now I got to the next one in the end of this month in Jackson, Mississippi, I'm going to have to get some Slappy stuff.
Before we go, a lot of people I know that are inspired by your work in that series have gone on to do some really good things with it. There's a cosplay group in Montreal called the Montreal X-Men who generally do crowdfunding events for charity. They do really great things, and they dress up as members of the X-Men. Yep. And how do you feel about this animated series you did would inspire human beings to do such heroic things?
You know, it's just it makes you feel so great. Yeah, well, the answer to your question is like I think that's the series was that good that these people grew up loving it and loving the characters. Why not do what they're doing?
And why you get to play the hero, huh?
Because we've already seen that adamantium converted. You want to play cavalry gambit? Come back when the kid is safe.
I don't like this morning, me.
I ain't exactly crazy about it myself.
Do you remember the last time in the booth knowing that you're going to speak as Wolverine for possibly the last time?
Yeah. Yeah. And it was sad. It was just like, I couldn't say goodbye to anyone. I could be talking to myself. Goodbye. I'm sure I did something. I'm sure I said, goodbye, Bub, or whatever. But it was like cutting off my right arm. Because 5 years of doing that, Ryan, 5 years. Like 5 years. And then it stops. It's like, where'd he go? What happened? Yeah.
Well, at least the last episode actually is a story's end where Charles Xavier gets attacked by a protester, and Magneto kind of like comes around.
Hello, Magnus.
At least there was like a proper last episode. I can think of many TV series that had no such thing as the last episode. They just kind of stop.
Yeah, no, I know.
Wolverine, loner, you have found a family. Wild savage, you have found dignity. Cynic, you have found faith. I am proud. Proud of you all. My X-Men.
Oh, my poor Charles.
You are too late, Lilandra.
For human science, yes. You were correct, however, in assuming that we Shi'ar have techniques beyond your comprehension, which will be of use.
Then he will survive?
Yes, but only under Shi'ar care. I know you cannot bear to see him go, but it is the only way.
Can he ever come back?
Perhaps not in body, my children, but my spirit shall remain among you, where it was always meant to be.
Thanks so much for being on the show, Mr. Logan, aka Slappy. I really appreciate it. Thanks for answering the fan questions, and please stay in touch because we as a people, as a fandom, must rise up and say we want more X-Men TAS. We want season 6.
Yeah,
and the best way to do that, everybody, is to rise up, speak up, and let your opinions be heard.
And only Ryan can say it, you're good, bub.
Check out more episodes of You, Me, and YTV on Facebook and YouTube. Sweet one-of-a-kind interviews with PJ Fresh Bill, PJ Paul, Tarzan Dan, the cast of Student Bodies, the voice acting cast of Sailor Moon, and much, much more. Exclusively on You, Me, and YTV. Season 2.